Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. In this video, we are going to work on a very interesting project. It's going to be a text to song generation project where we'll take some text prompt and then we'll try to generate a song which has a music and the vocals. It's not only text to music, but it's like we'll try to see how we can, do some work around and try to generate a song which has some vocals into it, right? So for example, if I have to sing or if I am putting some prompt and I'm expecting that the system should generate a small song, so we are going to perform this experimentation in this project, and this is going to be an end-to-end project, at least from a development standpoint, where we'll have a front end, back end, and things like that, right? So we'll have a web app where the user can put some text descriptions or prompt, and the system will generate a song. We are going to combine two generative models. One is, of course, GPT 3.5 Turbo by OpenAI, which is a generative model for text generation. And then we'll use a model called Bark by Suno AI. I have two, three videos on Bark already when they launched it earlier, many months back, right? So you can go through those videos as well. I will give the link in description. Now here we are going to combine OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo with Suno's Bark model, and we'll try to see how we can first generate a lyrics from OpenAI, and then how we can use that lyrics and pass it to Suno's Bark to generate a song, a small song of 5 to 10 seconds, and we'll see how we can do that. This is example. This example is important because you know OpenAI has launched Sora recently. They have announced for the testers and the red teaming team who kind of looking at right now for security and vulnerabilities. But if you look at text to video is possible, and Bark is an example where you can generate melodies and audios and things like that. And Suno already has created a model called Chirp. So Chirp is available right now through their Discord, and there are also a page where you can also use it to generate some songs, which is not open source and neither available to use as an API. We'll see how, at this moment, while I am creating this video, how we can look at some workaround and try to create a song which has melodies, music of, and which creates a song from your lyrics. That's the goal of this video. I'll first show you a quick demo that how it is going to look like once we complete that. So if you look at over here on my screen, and I have to wear my glasses, I'm a blind guy, can't see it. If you look at over here, this is what it says, welcome to harmonics. So we have to give it a name, harmonics, and I'll also show you that how we can deploy this application easily. This is a fast API, in a backend is fast API, and this is a very simple bootstrap app that we have created on the front end side, and we have deployed this as a service on render. And I'll show you that how you can deploy it in free on render. I'll just give you some steps. Now if you look at here, this is what it says, welcome to harmonics. Create songs from text within seconds by describing the music you wish to generate. So I'm going to write here like you know uh, hip hop song, just like Eminem style, okay, something like this, and I'm just going to click on generate. Now once I do generate, I'm expecting, it says generating your music. It takes a bit of time. Now what it does, I'll tell you what it does in the back end. When you put a text prompt, it goes to OpenAI. We have instruct a prompt, we have designed a prompt where we have set some instruction, and we say, hey look, user will give you a prompt and you have to act as a lyricist, or you have to create lyrics. You are good at creating lyrics and things
Spitting
like that.
fire,
You can think of this.
words like a dagger, Eminem style. No one can stagger.
This is what we are going to generate. If you just change it, and you can also download this, by the way, there's an option to download. I have to see why it's not appearing, and I'll give you this entire code so you can also play around this as well. Now I can say this is a waveform where it basically animates a bit and comes up with the music. Okay, now it also comes up, I'll just say, okay, Spanish romantic music and something like this. Okay, now let's click on, it says AI generated music below, and it says generating your music. The new music will get generated and it will appear below. Now the good thing about this is, guys, right, this is happening right now. We are using APIs. We are not relying on the open source right now for this particular. You can do it as well. So both Bark is available as an open source, and of course you can use an LLM to give you the lyrics. So you can use any smaller models to do that. But I just want to show you the capability of how you can generate some songs with melodies, and there are some workaround that you can work with. So let's wait for that. And you could see how fast it was, right? It took around 10 to 15 seconds,
In
to
the
do it.
land of passion and love, where guitars strum melodies divine, Spanish romance blooms like a rose in every heart and every line.
Fantastic, right? So now let's look at how we're gonna build this. Okay, where we can generate some songs, vocals with some melodies in background. You can also combine this, right? If you are, maybe I can show you that how you can also combine a better music in the background if you want through a other model like Refusion, for example, or you can do that. So let's start building this and see what are the things that we need to build this application and how we can build this good beautiful looking app as well. So let's jump in and see that. Now, to build that, first thing that you need is you need to use replicate. That's the thing I'm using. If you don't know what replicate is, just go to replicate.com, okay, and just search here. You can log in with your GitHub account on replicate. You can start using it in free as well, okay. They give you some credits to work with. Now, if you look at over here, you have a dashboard, you have explore. In the explore, once you click on explore, it will show you all the listed models. So what replicate does, it they take care of all the infra. You don't have to deploy an LLM or a generative model to take the load of all of those things, right? Basically it helps you with all the infrastructure, and you only rely on the API key. So you just use an API key from here and you can leverage that particular model. So this is very similar in a way how Hugging Face API also works, right? So you just rely on an API, or how OpenAI API also works. So they give you the API, you can run AI as an API. That's what Replicate does. And they have a lot of models over here. You can see the Mixtral ATEX7B, which is a MOE model, mixture of experts. Then we have Whisper model, we have Code Llama, we have things like that, right? So now here I'm going to search Suno. Once you write Suno, it will come up with the Suno AI, the Bark model. Now you can see this is how it looks like, and then you have to click on API. Once you click on API, you can see Node.js, Python, HTTP, Docker. There are different ways you can run it. I will show you the Python way. Now, if you look at the Python way, you have to install replicate, and then you need to import replicate, and then you have to use a piece of code. And I will show you how you can do that. Okay. Now, so let's see, let's jump in and start writing the code for this Suno application, that music generation application or the song generation application, guys. So let's start building the code now. All right, so to build this app, guys, the first thing that we need is a requirements txt. You can see these are the dependencies that we need to install. You can see we have FastAPI that basically helps you create your backend. We're going to rely on FastAPI, which is a Python library, a web framework to build scalable APIs in Python. We have Jinja 2, which is a dependency because we're going to rely on fast API. We'll have to use Jinja 2 templates, which we can integrate in fast API as well. AIO files for uploading files, multiparts, Python.env for environment, secrets keys, depending those kind of configurations. We have request helps you get connect with the server. Then we have replicate. As I said, you can use AI as an API using replicate. We have UVCon and OpenAI. UVCon to run the server of fast API. OpenAI are going to use the large language model. Uh, Two folders you have to create, static and templates. In static, you can see I have a readme txt. Just because I have to put it on GitHub, you cannot upload a empty folder on GitHub. And templates contains an index HTML. First, let me show you what we are doing on index HTML. I'll show you quickly. I'll just give you the entire code so you can replicate as your place. You can just reproduce it. Sorry, I said replicate. Replicate is in my mind. So you can reproduce it in your machine as well. Some of the CSS styling, when we use Bootstrap 5.3, Bootstrap that helps you with the styling and things. You can use React as well if you want. We have some styling, body container things, blah blah blah. It's a responsive app. We are using the Media Kit, WebKit and all. WebKit Media where it makes it responsive on different screen sizes. We have a container. We have some input box where you can put some input. Text area, basically that's a text area where we have a placeholder. Then we have a duration, how long you want, like 0 second to 20 second is smaller in size, length of the music. Then we have a button called generate, and then we have generating your music. You can see it over here. And then we have AI generated music, and then we are using a library called webform. Okay, sorry, WebSurf. So we are using WebSurfer.js. Now, WebSurfer.js is a library that basically helps you come up with those animated webforms and things like that, right? That's what we are using, WebSurfer. So we are using web server, getting the IDs when somebody clicks on it, fetching the data, URL, and then we are using an await fetch. You can see await fetch. So we are using fetch over here to get the backend data. And we have a post method. You can see the form data. We are getting it from FastAPI. And then we're just using the web server style display and things like that. So this is what we are doing here on the front end. I will give you the front end code so you don't have to worry about it. App.py, I will take some imports. I've created some gist just to save some time. So I'm just going to go on raw. These are the things that you need. If you come here, paste it, you can see I'm using FastAPI form because we're going to use a form input, HTTP exception request. We have JSON response. We're using a replicate, OS, .env, and OpenAI and things like that. The next thing that you have to do is now let's first initiate. So I'm going to do app equals. Let me just come a bit closer. Can't see it. FastAPI and yeah. So you first initiate load.env and now you have app FastAPI and then you can do replicate dot API underscore token. The same way you have to write it. We have defined that in env file. You can see I have an env file where I have defined in this similar fashion. I'll show you in which fashion you have to do it. So you have to do it like this: replicate API token. This will be name of your, this is a constant value. We're not going to change it frequently. So replicate API token in env, you have to define like this. And same goes with OpenAI, but it's a bit of different way of getting it. It's called OpenAI underscore key and then you get os.get-env and then you get OpenAI underscore API key. This is so we are setting the APIs over here, and then you do a couple of things. We're gonna do app.mount in app.mount, and then you define your static folder, and then you give the static files directory. So basically takes directory, and directory is nothing but then is static. This is the directory name as static, and then you give a name to it. So let's give a name static. So if you want to keep your logos and images and things, you can put it in the static folder. Okay. App.mount. So we have mount, and now I'm going to use a template. So I'm going to say templates equals, and we have a Jinja 2 templates, and I'm just going to pass the directory. So my directory name is templates, as you can see. So I'm just going to define that. I think that now we're going to write a function, guys. So let's write a function, generate underscore lyrics. And in this function, I'm gonna take a prompt. That prompt will be from the user side. Okay, user is going to put that prompt. Okay, now I'm gonna initiate my client. So client equals OpenAI. I'm not using LangChain in this case. I'm just relying on the OpenAI library. So client OpenAI, and this prompt is uh, going to be submitted by the end user on our app, Harmonix app that we have built. So client equals OpenAI and then it goes the response. So for that I have written a gist again. I'll just copy it, but I'll explain what we are trying to do here. I'll explain the line of code. I'll just copy. This is my GitHub gist. I'll give this link in description. Now you can see I have a response, and what I'm saying is, and let me just do an Alt Z. You can see I'm using a model. I'm using the chat completions, a chat completions class, chat completion dot create of OpenAI. And what I'm saying that use this model called GPT 3.5 Turbo. I'm not relying on GPT-4. And then I'm giving a system role that you are a music lyrics writer and your task is to write lyrics of music under 30 words based on user's prompt. Just return the lyrics and nothing else. And then I give a role user and then I take the prompt as a content. So prompt will be submitted by the end user. Then I'm giving a temperature equal to 0.7, which is a bit higher because I want an LLM to be a more creative thing over here. And then I have a max tokens only 50 because I don't want a lengthier tokens. I need a small tokens like the length of the sentences or the lyrics. Otherwise, if you go more than, because Bark anyway will not generate more than 20 seconds or 30 seconds, right? So we're gonna do that, and then we have this. Then I'm gonna have my output. This is how we parse an output. So you're gonna do response dot choices, and you get a list first one, and then you just pass the message dot content. This is basically coming from the OpenAI documentation. So you would have seen it earlier: output response dot choices, message dot content, and then we have to clean that. I'll show you why I'm cleaning it. We might go into the next line. So let's just use output.replace thing over here. So I'm going to use a replace function in Python, output.replace, and in that replace, I'm going to replace /n, and I'm just going to give a space. I have a cleaned output. Now here is the thing. This is must. Okay, so formatted output. If you just pass the lyrics to Suno's Bark, it will just take it as an audio. It will just generate a normal audio like I am talking. It will not generate a song kind of a vocals where people are trying to sing. It will not do that. So in that case, what it suggests on the Suno's Bark documentation, that you have to give like this. So there is an emoji. So I'll just gonna show you. Let me just go back to Bark documentation. Just going to show that. Okay. So let me just open Bark GitHub and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you come to their GitHub repository, and this is very, very important. Now, they say if you want music, you have to follow this emoji. Okay, you have to keep this emoji. Now, what I'm doing, I'm saying F, which is a, so what I'm saying, okay, they take this. Now, I have written this because I'm going to put my prompt inside this, and I'm saying, okay, you pass the cleaned output here and then close that as well. So I'm just going to copy. You can see over here, right? This is what you have to do. This is must. Without this, you will not be able to generate. Okay, now you have cleaned output. We are passing that, you can see, and then we are getting a formatted output. And I'm just going to return formatted output. You can see I'm just going to return over here, and let's call, or rather, let's call it a bit better. I'm going to call it formatted lyrics. And this output will also become lyrics. So formatted lyrics. Now this is what I'm doing. So this is interesting. You have to do this. This is must. Okay, so return formatted links. Now this function we are utilizing OpenAI. You can see we are leveraging client.chat completions.create. We have a model GPT 3.5 Turbo. We have a messages where we are passing some instructions, role-based prompting and instructions, and then we are, using a prompt as a content, and then have some inference parameters like temperature, max tokens, top p, frequency penalty, and things like that. And then this line is must, so let me just do that. This is mandatory this is a mandatory thing to get the vocals. And again, this can be improved, guys, so don't rely on only what I am doing, right? And now let's get a redirect so template. So let me just do this. If they don't do anything, how will you redirect? So app.get and then async def, and here I'm going to pass index and then inside request. So request and f2 request, and then here it goes your return templates, not temperature, templates dot template response. We're gonna use templates dot template response, and then you pass your index HTML. So it should open the harmonics thing when you go to localhost 8000, and then you're gonna pass here a key value which is request, and then you pass the request equals request. I mean, not equals, the colon. Okay, now this is done. So our async def index is done, and now I'm going to write the final function which is going to be uh what is this? Cool. Now I'm going to write the next function which is app dot post, and here I'm going to write generate music endpoint. Let's create that, generate underscore music, generate underscore music, or let's better naming convention of endpoints, generate hyphen music. And now here again I'm going to do async def, again our function called generate underscore music, and then I'm going to pass prompt. So prompt is nothing but it's a string, and string I'm going to take this as a form. So let's get form, and then you pass three dots, okay, into it, form, and then you're going to have a duration. So let's have a duration again, that is integer, and integer again that will come as a form input on the front end. So form, and then you write all of your logics. The first in, let's get the lyrics. So lyrics, how we'll get it? We'll pass the prompt that we are taking from the app, and then we'll pass it to the above function that we have created. So lyrics, and then gonna write generate lyrics, and let's pass your prompt. Now this will give us prompt with lyrics. So let me just get prompt with lyrics, and then let's do a mapping. So lyrics, you can just probably ignore this. Let's print it to see track in terminal, if it gives any error, prompt with lyrics, and then now we will use replicate. So for that, I've created a function also. You can also get it from, as I said, from here in API. Once you come in as Python, once you do Python, it will do it over here, output, replicate, run, and things like that, right? So I'm just have my gist ready here. You guys can just use the entire GitHub repository. I will give you the entire app. If you want to extend this further, you want to build it on your own, you can just do that as well. Let's do a raw, control A, control C, come over here and print. Now I have an output. Now you can see this is where you have to hit. So Suno AI Bark, then it has some identifier, that basically for their server or stuff for replicate Bark, like Suno AI Bark model on replicate server. Then you have prompt. I'm passing prompt with lyrics. You can see the text temperature, keep it high. I have a waveform temperature, keep it high. Output full as false. I haven't kept output full as true. And then what I'm going to do after this, I'm going to say print output. After print output, I'm going to have music underscore URL equal output, and then I'm just going to get the audio out because I know it gives you a dictionary. So when you use Suno Bark, it gives you a dictionary. So audio output or audio out, that's the key of it. So you have to get the value of that. So I'm going to say music URL output audio out. And yes, so music underscore path or URL, and then I'm going to call it music URL. And that's it. Now let's print that to see in terminal. If we get any error, we can just track it out. And then here you're gonna return JSON response. So let's use a JSON response, and inside that I'm gonna replace content, and my content is going to be an URL, which is nothing but music path or URL. Okay, now fantastic. Now this is my code which has been completed. So I'll just give you a quick walkthrough of the code, and then we're gonna run this. We have fast API thingy, responses, blah blah blah. You have a load.env at line 10. We are loading the envs to get the keys from our env file. Then we have a app equals fast API, where we are initiating the fast API app. We have replicate API token, OpenAI API key, app.mount static. We are doing, then we have templates, Jinja 2 templates, directory equals templates. Then we have a function that generates the lyrics. We are using an LLM called GPT 3.5 Turbo by OpenAI. We have done some role-based prompting. We have some inference parameters, and then we do a bit of post processing once we get the output. And this is the must line that we have to do 43, where we have to put the clean output in this emojis of music, so Suno can understand that we have to generate some vocal codes or something like that. Okay, I'm not a music guy, by the way. If you are a music guy, let's connect and let me know how it, what are the domains, that domain knowledge that you can provide, so we can do something well in this, right? Then we have generate music function. Basically that takes your above function to get the lyrics out. Then we have using the replicate server, the APIs, to get this, and then just parsing it for web server and thing like that. Now let's do one thing. Now this has been completed. Let's run this and see what kind of output we are getting here. Let's open it here, and let's just let me just clean this. And now let's do uvcon. You can see my file name is app, and then my app name is app, and I'm just going to run this. When I say uvcon app, it's gonna open this. Let me just close all of this. Okay, now, and it's gonna open, let me just see, it's you can running it on 8000. You just have to go localhost 8000. Once you do localhost 8000, you will see it says welcome to harmonix. We just have given a name. You can take this UI, put some login screen and all, and put it on product hunt and things like that. Right now, let's try it out. See, it may sometimes will not work because we are trying to work on a workaround, but this can be very soon. We will have this model released by Suno or some other organizations. They will do it. Text to song is very near. Suno has done it with the chirp model. Let me show chirp. If you haven't seen If you haven't seen it yet, Suno has Chirp. Once you come on Suno AI, it will have some newspaper kind of. It says make a song about the moon. Come and make a song. Once you come here, you can click on create. Once you click on create, it asks you to log in. I'm just gonna log in with my here page. Okay, and you can see it's logged in. And once you do that, I already have created a song, but I will just say hip hop song of Eminem style and things like that, right? And once you click on create, you can see it start creating it. It will give you two songs. Right now it generate two songs, and you can also play it the same way we are doing. It says could not generate song description cannot contest artist name. So they have done those kind of validations. A hip hop song of American style. Okay, now click on this. They are a bit ethical. They are trying to show that they are, following the ethics, when it comes to AI, which is fine. And now it says you can see a hip hop song of American style, and it will give you some out. You can see streets, American style hip hop. So if they say that they are generating it, and they have the data to do that, right? But we don't have the data to do right now, so we are relying. So the similar way here, uh, let's write a hip hop song of American style, and I'm just going to click on generate. Now, once you do generate, we will expect that it generates a song for us. You can see it says generating your music. Meanwhile, let's wait for it and see what it does. It takes around 15 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds to generate, which is I think fairly fine, for this kind of capability. And this you should see more of a proof of concept. This is not a solution, a product that you can start selling it or people will use it. This is more of a proof of concept or as a hobby project. If you are in a music industry, or if you like music and you want to explore the capability of artificial intelligence or generative AI nowadays, you can work around in these techniques and see if you are able to generate any song. You can see it says
Moving
AI
down the
generated music below.
street, living the American dream, chasing success, making needs for a lemon tea.
So you could see there was a bit of noise in the background, but it was able to generate a hip hop rap kind of a thing. Let's try it out something else as well. So I'll just write a 90s style Bollywood romantic song. Okay, I'm just gonna write this and click on generate, and it generates. So you can see the previous one is below. Once you generate a new one, it will override that previous song. Or so it has a bit of noise. It's not up to the mark, and I expect that. Okay, I was expecting that it will not be 100% what you will be amazed, but I think that is a good project to start with if you are in this field of generating text to song. Once you have a lot of data, to data and audio data and the workers to do that, you can scale it up further in near future. So this is not the one tool. There are a lot of tools that you can see. It was a bit of complete noise, which was not good. Let's try it out something once more. And last, Spanish cinematic romantic song. Sometimes it generates a lot of garbage noise because the principle is again same, garbage in garbage out, right? And let's also keep a track in I don't know why I opened YouTube, sorry for that. It also tracks. You can see this is how the lyrics are printed. If you look at this last one, it was under the moonlight we dance in the streets, Spanish guitar playing to our heartbeats, but it was not able to infer it. Okay, it was giving you some noise. But lost in time, this was Bollywood Dream. Then we were cruising down the street. This was the American one that worked. That was working fine. You can see this is fine. This is fantastic. This is the best result we have got. So this was perfect, right? So what I'm saying is that out of 10 time, 7 or 8 it will work fine. 1 or 2 times it might not work. You can see this was completely what I was expecting. A song which has a music, which has a vocals, and that is fantastic. I love that response, okay, of this one. So that's all I think, guys. We have this app. You can go ahead and you can see this is how Suno has app, city, street. You can, and of course, there's a better quality, but you can take this app, you can extend it further for text to song. Text to music is fairly easy. Text to music, you can use Refusion, you can use Music Gen, you can use audio. If you go to my channel, I have a lot of videos on that. I'll just show you quickly. So I have a lot of videos on generating musics and things like that, right? So let me just go on YouTube Studio, come to my content, and you will find out a lot of information. So I'll just search across your channel. So let me just do music. You can see I have a lot of videos. Let's build a text to music generation app using Gen AI. I have music gen app, generate music using. I have a lot of music generated. Meet Bark. The videos are already available here. Okay, you can go to. Maybe I'll create a new playlist for music generation, and you can just easily. It will be easier for you to search these tutorials. But this is the new edition. Complete looks like an app. You can use it for your demos and hobby projects and things like that. Okay, so I'll just what I will do. I'll take a screenshot of this because this is going to be part of my thumbnail as well. So I'm just going to take a screenshot, capture, and I'm just going to keep it. That's all, guys. This entire repository of my project Harmonics will be available on GitHub if you want to. And I believe in distributing, giving it as a project. So please feel free to use it. Let me know if you have any thoughts, feedbacks, or comments. I'll be more than happy to help you. You can reach out to me through my social media channels. Those information are available on the channel banner and the channel about us. If you like the content, please hit the like icon. If you have not subscribed the channel yet, please subscribe the channel. That helps me or motivates me to create more such videos in future. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.